What's up, everyone? Let me introduce our special guest. So we have here a movie store. I'm trying to pull up his IMDb page.
Yes. Hey, you may want to scoot forward just a smidge.
Yeah.
So John doesn't also yell at you.
Yeah, you basically want to talk like right here.
Gotcha.
There you go. So who are you?
Who are you?
My name is Brent Novak.
What's up, Brent?
Hey, Brent.
Hi. Thank you guys for having me. By the way.
You have a great podcast voice.
Thanks. That's what I'm hoping to do next.
Do you want to tell us about your movie experience?
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
you're a producer. You didn't even mention that.
I know.
Yeah.
You like
that's
like-
not how we met.
you have several movies you produced,
Also,
and you didn't even mention it.
I just want to go back and just say that I'm kind of a little embarrassed because I was like, let's do a true crime drunk history. He's like, oh, and then moved on to the next topic of conversation, and I'm like, okay, maybe not.
Are you talking about you and I should do it, or just all of us?
us.
Oh, okay.
All of us.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing now, isn't it?
Kind
This
of,
is
but
it.
we could put I don't know. We'll talk business later. No, it's fine.
Let's hope this-
I just know.
Tara.
No, I also want to say that he said that he's been listening to the podcast, and I just want to commend you for actually wanting to come and talk with us in person. He listens to the
after
podcast.
listening, yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Well, I noticed that the first 20 minutes was a banter that was pretty fun. So
Yeah.
I'm like, that's why I said, if you guys are having a shot, make sure and line me up.
Yes.
I did. I pick out a couple. I went to the liquor store today. Got a few extra libations to the pack. We're ready.
Ew, libations.
I had some award-winning shorts that
Ooh.
won some festivals way back in the day.
But now you're back on your game. You're getting back into it.
I'm going to get back into it. Going through a divorce, and I have a son and local agent. So we're working on with my producing partners. We're working on a reality show. We're going to film in Texas, and it's being looked at by the same people that do Big Brother. Thanks.
Big Brother is. I know that I've heard that, but what is it?
The big where they're all in the house together and the cameras. It's the same producing company
Oh,
that handles that. They're looking at it.
Nice. So
We'll
like
see
a
what
real
happens.
world type of situation.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
They have games and stuff, right?
And you're going
They
to produce
compete?
that, or
Well, I was producing the pilot, and then they decided not to shoot the pilot. They're just going to sell the concept, but we're waiting for them to say
dude,
yes.
we can fill this house with people and shoot.
Just do it, right? Just do it.
Just move back in.
It wasn't like Big Brother. It was just they were interested in it. So
Yeah, that's
but
awesome, man.
I have a full length feature on Amazon right now called Harvest Moon, and it takes a second to find it. It's only $1, so if anyone wants to check it out,
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. It was good. I will tell you though, it's always the country bumpkins that are the killers. I noticed. Where did you
give
film
that away? In Spring Hill, California.
Oh, that's California.
Yeah, it was California.
Did you fly my family out there? I feel like some of them characters were.
Well, there's a big bald guy who was popular back in the
Yeah.
but there was another one that I forgot his name. It starts with a T. That used to be in a lot of horror films, and the guy who was probably the main killer, giving away spoilers. He looked like this guy. So Tor, I think his name was back in the old times.
So how did you get into producing
Harvest
films?
Moon,
How does that work? How do you get into the biz? What made you want to do it?
Well, back then I was engaged and living in San Diego, and we broke up, and I'm like, I'm going to go try it and just start. For me, it was working with student filmmakers. I never went to school, but you started to work with student filmmakers, and then you kind of grow up together. And one of them now, I acted in an Emmy-winning student short film called Union, and one of the directors from that has a Padawan podcast.
Okay.
If you look up Star Wars toys, his name's Joey, and he runs that now. So
All right, cool.
so yeah, that's kind of it. And then you just run out of money after a while, and then you have to file for bankruptcy and then try something else.
We do have another Taco Supremo to shout out and welcome. Lindsay, thank you very much for joining and signing up for a full year. We will be sending you your Jupiter CBD as well. So I actually got yours.
Yeah,
ready
can
to
I
go.
see that?
Yeah, you can have a bottle, man.
Yeah.
Because the first one's always
First
free.
one's free, man.
That's
Just
what they
be sure
say.
if you reorder to
Nice.
use our code
They'll be back.
LAMA10.
He'll be
Okay.
back. I'm like a drug dealer, but with an auto ship program.
Does it help you sleep?
Oh my god!
Yeah,
for
it's
me,
great,
it does.
man.
Yeah,
Dude, it's great.
I take it every night. I do.
Just don't put it in your liquor. I remember I did that before.
Yes.
That shit made me high.
But it was also like
That sounds
4
amazing.
droplets worth of.
As he's like,
Yeah.
Well, all
Start
right.
dropping. Start dropping.
no judgment.
All right. Well, y'all ready to do a surprise shot? This one's for you, dude.
All right.
Let's get things going.
You like my bongos, Nicole?
You have nice bongos.
I
Thank you. The drums are nice too, right? Surprise shots. Oh, the camera's here. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise.
Yeah.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Thanks for having
Cheers.
me.
Thanks for joining us.
Is that like a strawberry kiwi?
That was too
Was
easy.
that kinky
It's
stuff?
delicious.
That was the Western watermelon.
Oh.
Western soul. Is that what it is?
Oh, I
Now
think I
can't
know what you're
remember.
talking about.
So have you seen the show before? You know, we do.
Sable's here.
Yeah, we do the shots. We do another 7 times before we get started.
What? Okay.
There have been a few where we've fallen on the floor. What's up, Sable?
So your show is in Houston.
So yeah.
Tell us about Houston,
Oh, so
because actually that's where the story's taking place.
really,
Oh.
actually in a small town called Glendale, right outside of Houston, where we're going to shoot. I can't give away.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I can't give away.
Yeah,
that.
shit, no.
I was just going to, and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
So
Pour him another shot. Let's-
anyway, it's not even my idea, but I'll steal it.
All right, we are going to Houston. Quote, hell and Houston both begin with the letter H. That's an old adage. So back in the 70s, when the story that I'm talking about tonight, it happens in the 70s. This is going to be kind of weird because I've never done a story like this before. It is a big story and I'm trying something completely new. I'm kind of starting at the end and we're going to work our way to the beginning. So I don't know how it's going to work. Hopefully I can pull it off. But in the 70s, Houston had more air conditioners per capita than any other city in the world.
Interesting. Was it preserving dead bodies? Is that where you're going with that?
No, just
It's hot
facts
in
about
Texas.
freaking Houston. Also, it was literally called the Murder City at one point. Well, let's just go to the home tonight, and it is blocked off of
Like, it's
Google.
blurred-
It's
blurred
blurred. I did check it, but let's go. What in the fuck? Hold on. Let me get that's pretty. What is that?
Austin says, I call Houston the swampland.
Is it really swampy out there? So here's
I'm surprised that they've blurred the house out.
So this is the back 2020 Lamar. Ooh, wrong way. If you know what this story is, you may have heard of this address. Oh, that is kind of weird that they got the whole
Houses are very close
trees.
together.
Yeah. I mean, there couldn't be much that happened in this house, right? I mean, let
No.
me show you an actual picture.
It's suburbia.
Let me show you some pictures of the house because I want you to guess how much the house is worth because it actually was recently on the market.
Oh,
Currently?
really?
You want us to give a current guess?
Yeah, I'm going to show you the house though.
How many
here.
square feet?
It's going to show us.
That's a good question. Let's see. Square feetage.
I spend a lot of time on Zillow, like randomly. So I
Oh,
feel
no,
like I
actually-
can do well on this.
Okay, so
Well, do you know Texas's market?
I do, actually.
Wow.
what do you mean Texas
Why?
is market?
Because I
Why?
thought about purchasing a house in Texas for a rental.
To manage all the way from
Yeah.
here?
A rental company.
All right, so apparently what I didn't know about Nicole is she had a tax lien house at like 16 or something.
I did.
I mean, what the fuck?
I think it was in Oklahoma, I want to say. Yeah.
I mean, everyone
Wait.
else
I
was skateboarding and
was
getting
investing.
high.
Yeah, she's buying rental property,
What the
right?
Was that like one of those things where they didn't pay their taxes, so you bought it for $5 or something?
Yes, I think
$5?
I think I paid $1,000 for it, maybe.
At 16?
Come on.
Yes, I had jobs when I was.
So, but did Renee
Okay.
know about this?
Yes, she helped me figure this out.
I was going to say who helped you.
It was definitely like my parents helped me figure this out, and it took a long
Always been
time to get
hustling.
the money back, but I ended up getting it back right before buying this house, and the return was $7,000.
She's a fucking hustler, man.
So wait, you bought a house for $1,000 and sold it for $7,000? What kind of house was this for $7,000?
I think it was like a pig farm. Like it was something.
pig farm.
I don't even know. I was just like,
And
yeah,
then you
let's
married
do it.
someone that grew up on a farm too.
I know.
You were just-
What the fuck does that supposed
A
to
pig
mean?
farm.
So I'm some kind of hick?
No, you just always talk about how you grew up on
We're
a farm.
not related. My wife and I are not
No,
related.
We
But
are
your
not.
family-
All right, we're not blood related.
I hope not.
Well, all right.
Well, it's a good thing we don't want kids because that would be a nasty surprise.
Well, describe blood anyway. What is blood? Like, yeah. This is the house, so try to appraise it for me, Nicole.
All right, single story. It's probably
go back.
less than 2,000 square feet. So I'm going to say it's probably around 285.
I was
in this
going to say
today's market.
265 is what my guess was.
Higher or lower?
Okay, but you also know that this house has been featured on talkmurder.com, so it's a murder house.
Does that increase the value or decrease the
Well,
value?
you tell me.
I feel like if it's a big murder, it may increase.
I would say it goes down to 195.
$1.
Damn, Jen, I would invest in you because published on April 22nd, 2022, The House Serial Killer's House 185.
Nice job.
So Jen, here's all my money, which is not a lot. So invest it in crypto, please.
Wait,
Any crypto.
is that like a skill that you actually are trusting me with?
Are the
Is, like
bank-
guessing the value of things? Because if that's all it takes, then I guess I should invest my money. I have
You want to invest in the Bank of Silicon Valley. That's like, I hear
I'm-
that's the freaking...
I'm
that a
going to
thing?
say no.
Oh my God. Okay. So you want to know what's wild? So this Bank of Silicon Valley collapsed like this week.
Like yesterday.
Yeah.
It did?
Yeah. Yesterday.
It's like the second largest bank in the world.
Yes, in the country. And there was a run on the bank. People were freaking out, taking out their money.
Like big company, like Google. And
Big
shit.
companies invested in that, including the company in which I am employed by. And
new one?
The old one.
Oh.
And had we not been purchased, I probably would have had no job today with no severance package. Just like
Everything happens for a reason.
everything does happen.
And
Isn't that
I
fucking
still
wild?
didn't get my candy bar.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, I mean, she wouldn't have been able to get you a candy bar if she had been employed, if the old company wasn't bought out. So
That's right.
I have been here an hour and I've learned more
Shit, we've
things
been here
in
an
an hour in my life. Like this is like a college I'm going to. My gosh.
They should start paying us like professors then.
Houston, one bishop described it as, quote, the greatest sink of dissipation and vice that modern times have known.
The house?
No, Houston.
Oh.
So
I thought the house too.
if you're from here, I've never been to Houston, okay? But I've been to Austin, and that's just weird.
Keep Austin weird.
I know. Anyway, at the time in 1973 when we're going, Houston was a different place. I don't know what it is now. I'm guessing it's not known as the murder city, the murder capital of the world, though.
No, that's Chicago.
But in 1843, so Houston was like manufactured. Apparently, these guys came in and it was like, we're going to build a city, kind of like Vegas. We're gonna build it right here, and they did. You know what I'm saying? But they had a lot of like slavery help and stuff like that. Anyway, in 1843, a bishop said, "quote There is a great need for deep, a thorough, a sweeping revival of religion in Houston." Anyway, I'm just telling you about Houston. If you guys live in Houston, then you may disagree with me. We're going to August 8th, 1973 tonight, 2020 Lamar Drive. Let me show you that house one more time. And unfortunately, it is blurred out, much like the, what was that, Indiana stabbing?
Idaho
Idaho stabbings. So this is, I mean, I was kind of pissed that the house is blurred out, but you can tell it's not in the best neighborhood, I would say. And the house just sold for $185,000. But that's where we're going to tonight. This story is a request from Austin, our good friend Taco Supremo. I will say, Austin, if you know the story, I'm starting probably where no one else is starting. I'm kind of starting at the end of it here, and I'm going to hopefully this works out. Oh, here's your house photos, Nicole.
All right. All right.
So you can kind of see the house here.
I kind of hate that when you have a wooden gate and then a chain link fence is like 4 feet high next to it. It's like, why not just continue with wooden fence?
Yeah, great. I mean, it's nicely done on the inside.
Yeah, you
Say
can't
they
tell that
remodeled, all
anyone's
right?
been murdered there.
Yeah.
Hey, you sure can. There's no blood.
Yeah.
There's no blood.
Yeah.
Modern.
Good paint, like good neutral paint. Flooring is, desirable for folks.
Yeah, dark
See, I would
hardwood.
just paint all the walls red and be like, there's no blood.
Blood.
Red rum.
It's got a nice backyard. Now
Yeah.
keep this photo in mind here, this backyard.
All
Is there some stuff happening?
It's looking nice.
Now,
If
had
I'm
my
a real
yard
estate
done today.
mogul, I'd buy. I'd buy it.
you would buy it? I mean, 185,000 is not bad.
No.
It's great. It's a great
Plus,
price.
dude, I would turn it into a museum, like a morbid museum, Like,
well,
come
we don't
here,
know
the
anything
murder
about
house.
the.
Yeah, we don't know
we
the
don't know
story.
the murder yet.
Oh, yeah,
it's,
yeah.
It's probably haunted. I wonder if there is a website similar to Zillow, but for
For murder
haunted
houses?
properties, like for murder houses. That
Girl,
could make a killing.
That's $1 million.
And that wasn't
idea
even a
right there.
pun. Like
That
I'm
was a
serious.
pun.
It wasn't wasn't intentional. Like it, like literally people.
There are Zillow type websites out there with murder houses. A lot of the times I pull these photos from.
No, but I mean like specifically for
to buy.
Yeah, like I am looking to buy.
Oh,
a murder
to buy?
house.
No, they're just like information on it or whatever.
If you're interested, check
All right.
out Grady Hendrix' new book, How to Sell a Haunted House.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's our interview with our New York Times bestseller.
That's right.
Man, I'm going to ride that guy all the way to the top.
That's right.
That's what she said.
All right, 2020 Lamar Drive, Pasadena, Texas. This is August 8th, 1973. It's a Wednesday, and it's in the morning. This is 8:50. What was it the time? 8:24. 8:24. Well, what could be going on at 8:24 in the morning? At 8:24 in the morning, the Pasadena Police Headquarters get a call from a young man. He's distraught, and the reason I kind of went into the Houstonians or whatever is they have a very distinct way of talking. So like they say like really, like rally. I don't know if anyone's from there, correct me, but the book we're reading, a 911 call comes in, and the man in a quivery male voice says the following.
Y'all better come right now. I killed a man. The address is 2020 Lamar.
All right, so y'all better come rat now, R-A-T, rat now. I kilt, like Tilted Kilt. Remember that place?
Period.
I used to date a girl from Tilted Kilt. It was like a restaurant. Y'all better come right now. I killed a man. The address is 2020. God, it sounds like my family. That's what this guy, man, he looks like he would talk just like this.
He looks like Justin Bieber.
The patrolman, A.B. Jameson, he gets there at the house 2020 Lamar, the one I just showed you. I'll put the photos on talkmurder.com if you want to see. And he just thinks it's a wreck. Let me tell you a little bit. I know I'm harping on this, but Houston, I was looking at it, and there were so many murders in Houston at the time that they actually classified them as a homicide or a quote misdemeanor murder. The cops would actually assign times for murder cases. Okay, give this one a day. Give this murder case, I don't know, like 10 hours. There were so many during this time. I don't know why. Like Houston, I get what the fuck's going on. It was the murder city of the freaking world at this time. There was a lot of people getting murdered. So anyway, this patrolman, A.B. Jameson, he arrives, and he has already been on homicide cases. You know, he's going into a lower income socioeconomic part of town, and he looks up the record of the person that has called, and he sees that this guy has been on drugs. He has been sniffing paint, all this, terrible stuff that you do, right? So he kind of just walks up in there. He goes into the front yard, and he sees two young men and a half-dressed teen girl who was completely covered head to toe in blood. It was dripping off of her. There was so much blood all over this woman. So there's 4 people in this story total. I want you to remember tonight.
Okay.
2 young men were sitting there. There was a half-dressed girl covered in blood. The other guy's in the house, which you're going to see. The 911 call said, y'all better come right now. I killed a man. So the 4th person would be inside the house.
Dead,
yeah, because he was killed. All right.
Got it.
So they're just sitting there on the front porch. There's beer cans everywhere, and the cop comes up to him, and all this man says, who called 911, he just says, in there. He's in there. Go in there. He's in there. So
dismissive.
Exactly. So this cop's like, okay. He walks into the house, and from the book, one of the books we're reading tonight, The Man with Candy by Jack Olson says the following.
Is that why you wanted a Snickers bar?
He does ask me for this often, but
I didn't get one, obviously.
From the book, The Man with Candy by Jack Olson, the police stepped into the house and found the naked body of a man stretched full length on the beige carpet. The vital signs were gone, the mouth was puffed out, and the face was swollen and caked with blood. There appeared to be 5 or 6 bullet holes in the chest and back.
All right, so here we go. Trigger warning coming up. Here is what the cop saw.
Well, at least that's why they tore up the carpet.
Yeah,
Oh.
This is the guy that was...
Is that a boot on his back? Like a boot tattoo?
Oh, interesting.
Or a snake?
No, that's blood, Jen.
That's not
blood?
a tattoo?
I thought that was a tattoo.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
one shitty tattoo.
No, right.
Well, that's why
Well,
it
we
looks
did
like
think it
either
was.
a boot or a snake. A snake opening his mouth.
Or an alligator. You both went.
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see it now.
maybe.
Let me show you another.
No, I had to do one of those like tilts.
Let me
I
show
saw
you
an alligator
Tilted
for the
kilt.
very first time here in South Carolina a couple weeks ago.
one more photo. This one's more graphic because it's colored. And this is the other side of the same man. And you can see he is not wearing a tattoo. That's the man dead right there. And you know where I found this fucking photo at?
Yeah.
OnlyFans?
No. A fucking website called Cute Dead Guys. That was the website that had this photo of this. I mean, he's
Is
a
that on the
famous
dark
guy.
web?
No, it's just on the internet. Describe this for people listening. I'll put this photo on talkmore.com.
Some naked people laying out on the floor, deceased.
Yeah.
Like the leg is.
He doesn't look very bloody. He's been shot 5 times. You see there's
Oh, where would he be shot?
In the back.
Chest. Was
Yeah.
that in the chest?
You see the telephone cord actually wraps in between his toes. Kind of weird, but it just turned out that way. This guy's completely naked. He is leaned up against the wall. He's dead. And he's a pretty muscular man, you would
Yeah.
say. He's pretty big. I mean, you know, he's got like big legs and stuff. Pretty muscular
he looks
kind of guy.
fit, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a pretty high quality photo for 1973, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I
that's a
know.
good call out. Yeah.
I know.
They must have had a GoPro.
They must have.
This is the so this
I saw
man,
the light over your eyes.
so this man, his name was Dean. He is shot 5 times, and this is you see his hair here.
He done killed.
In this photo, you see the back. You see the bullet wounds.
I don't think I've
Oof.
ever seen that that high resolution of a photo with bullet wounds.
Same.
Like with the skin.
Yeah, man.
Open like that?
Yeah.
Freaking cutedeadguys.com, dude. Holy shit.
That is on there too.
Fucking disturbing that is the name of a website.
Dude,
Yeah.
let me go there. You'll not believe it. Cutedeadguys.com. Just so you don't think I'm lying. Cutedeadguys.com right here. You see it? It's a gore site for motherfucking
Full nudity, hot guys, and
but they're
missed the
all
last
dead.
part.
It's fucking weird.
That's weird.
Yeah,
That's real weird.
it's one of the weirdest things I've came across in this show. And
Every
I've came-
every pot has their lid, right? Is that the saying or
Sure. There's something out there for everybody, I guess.
That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah.
Anyway, this guy, 5 bullet wounds. You see 4 right here. 1, 2, well, actually 3. 1, 2, 3. And then there's one in his shoulder you do not see. And then there's one right in the forehead. Boom. The pineal gland, Jen. That's what the DMT goes into. The Joe Rogan freaking getting high. Right in the awakening gland. Right in the freaking
Third eye.
dead. Third eye. Third eye blind.
I'm seeing them in 2 weeks. They're coming to.
Really? They're not.
Love them.
They're coming to the performance
Hey,
arts
now you're a rock star.
No.
Get your
No.
get.
Not the
Smash
same one.
Mouth.
Not the same one.
So the cop looks at this body and he sees 5 to 6 bullet holes in the chest and back. There's one in the forehead, like straight in the forehead. Great shot, headshot. Great shot. Sorry, I'm a veteran. That's what I said. The body was on the left side, nose to the baseboard, right shoulder leaning against the wall. The male is about 6 feet tall. I'll put those photos on talkmore.com. Let's talk about the home inside. You saw the guy that was, quote, killed. The police noticed that this place was messy inside, not just that disgusting carpet, but everything, a lot of the rooms, and I showed you the inside of the house, a lot of these rooms were covered in tarps. You know, it's kind of
Blue
weird.
tarps?
Like, what are they painting something? This is one of the things they found in this home. If you want to tell us what this is on top of this blue tarp.
That looks like some sort of torture board, or also if someone was trying to teach their child how to tie their shoes.
What? Teach
When
your
I-
child how
When
to
I was
tie
a
their
kid,
shoes? What
okay,
are
so
you
when I
talking
was a
about?
kid, my dad made this wooden board and he cut it with his jigsaw like to shape like a shoe, and he drilled holes in it and like laced it like a shoe so I could learn how to tie a shoe.
That's awfully nice.
I think you walked in and saw this and was like, Dad, what's this? Oh, yeah, that's up to tell you how to tie your shoe. Yeah, your shoes right here.
Start practicing.
Dad, what is this red gooey? Is this, what's this? No, this clear gooey.
Thank you. Got it. We got it.
Sperminoid.
Nope, you can stop there. You can stop there. But thank you.
All right. So inside the home, police noticed that the place was a mess. They also noticed several rooms smelled like banana oil.
Banana oil.
Banana oil.
What is banana oil?
I don't know.
Like massage type of oil?
Well,
type
in
stuff?
in the actual police report, that was noted that the house smelled like banana oil. You know, I guess, I don't know, banana oil. There was a slab of thick, unpainted plywood. What I just showed you at the end were holes attached to 2 sets of handcuffs. Nylon ropes also hung down. That is a torture board. So you guys got it right. So this is the house of torture.
Yeah, nailing it.
This guy we're talking about tonight combines a lot of cases we've done before. It's got a lot of everything in it. Like a lot of Bob Berdella, a lot of, what's that toy box killer guy's name? David Parker Ray. story.
Oh,
a lot
God,
of things are melted into this story, it seems like. There was also a hunting knife that was off to the side, and there were several books on the shelf, and most of them were based on sexuality or sexual positions, Karma Sutra, stuff like that. A lot of homosexual stuff. If you want to read the next quote from Jack Olson.
Next to a well-thumbed copy of Human Sexuality, there were several thin glass tubes and a double-headed plastic dildo of 17 inches. The nearly empty bedroom was decorated by a colorful poster with a Jesus-like image on it. The caption was love.
And I don't think it was Jesus's either.
Yeah, but it's the
Could've been.
70s, man. Like, Jesus is the thing, dude. And like free love.
Thing, dude.
Free love. Double-headed dildos, you know?
No.
All right, so 17
inches.
fucking inches. Like,
That's
why
like-
would you need that? Like,
That's like this long.
that like comes back out
That's
your
like,
mouth.
That's like Mr. Hands.
Ew,
Ew.
God. All right, I'm looking this up.
Shram goes, sorry, I was not paying attention, but you just brought me back. The double-headed dildo. She's back on. There you go.
All right, I'm looking this up. There's one on Amazon. Oh, called
Dear God, please clear that from our search
it's
history.
called Double Trouble Slender Bender dildo. Oh, shit.
Nope, no, I can't say that's something we need. So
They see the dead guy, which I showed you. They see this, the whole place smells like banana oil, and there's sex toys everywhere. There's not only sex toys, there's torture devices. This is a Bob Burdelic type of situation here. And not only that, they notice this so sick, please buy me this van out front. This is a Ford Econoline. Look at this beautiful
find these
thing.
pictures?
And look at these curtains.
CuteGuys.com.
Oh,
These curtains are for privacy.
Yep.
And the van actually had some torture equipment in there as well. This was parked out front. This is a really nice van. I feel like I'm a van man.
A van man.
Inside the van, it was a Ford white Econoline van rigged so the rear portion can be easily sealed by those navy blue curtains. There was a floor rug in there. There was rings and hooks protruded from pegboard walls. The pegboards were soundproofing. There was also binoculars, maps, and 15 feet of nylon rope. In the backyard of the home, which was fenced in, there was a box found with air holes in the box, a torture sort of box. I know we never did the story, The Girl in the Box.
Yes, we did.
We
But
did
she
the
was
boy
under
in
the
the
bed.
box.
Huh?
One where she was under the bed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was
yeah.
called The Girl in the Box, yeah.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
No, there's a story called Ursula Herman.
And we did make that update that they identified the boy in the box, right? I told you guys that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they finally identified him. But this is what I was thinking of. There's this girl named Ursula Herman. I can't even remember. I can't even fathom how I remembered her name. But this is the box, and I can do the story if y'all want. She was found in this box. This is really tragic, but this is like the box that she was found in.
Oh no.
And it had like a breathing apparatus that didn't work.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it was
Don't
crazy.
like that. That kind of reminds me of those trunks that you see at the end of a bed. You know, like in the olden days where people would have trunks.
I might get drunk from the end of my bed. Yeah.
Just don't keep anyone in there.
No.
Damn, man.
Blankets.
Yeah.
Blankets,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's where you put blankets.
That divorce must be weighing on you.
yeah, to bring it up.
Dude, we have a trunk, or we have something. You put your shoes up in that shit.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Who's in there now? Who's in there now?
Just a bunch of shoes. Just a bunch of shoes.
That's where John actually sleeps. It's in the trunk.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. In the backyard, which was fenced in, a box with air holes in the side, the detective, being probably a rookie detective, I'd imagine, he puts his hand down in there without actually shining a flashlight in there.
No, you don't do that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Big
Like,
mistake.
fuck, are you fucking? Was this a dare?
Hold on, let me in there.
Hey, rookie, see what's in there.
This is your hazing part one.
What do you think they found in there?
I'm going to guess a body.
Or an animal.
There was no body in there. The box was 34 inches high, 24 inches wide, 30 inches deep, hinged in front. The detective felt his hand in there, and it seemed like from the description, it was carpeted inside this box.
Was an angry raccoon.
No, but he did feel something deep down in here, and he pulled it out. It was a clump of human hair,
Ew.
and so he decided to be like, ew. No, I'm just kidding.
Got
Throw that. Ew, gross. Jesus.
Oh man, that's nasty.
I know, right? Under the cabin, they also found this thing. Under the house, they found what this thing is, if you want to describe this, if you can. It's like a fucking torture board. So this right here is a board, just kind of like Bob Berdella had, that story we did. He would just tie the victims up to this board. So the story we're doing tonight is a torture-ish story.
It's kind of like an underdeveloped St. Andrew's cross.
I don't know what that is.
It's the torture device that you're tied up.
Is
It's
that
also like
what you do when you're
no, but it's also
I
like
don't know.
people
Who
don't
else
use
would-
it for not torture. They use it for,
So
adult
I'm
activities.
sure it was in 50 Shades of Grey in some way, shape, or form.
All right. The cops, they talked to the neighbors. They said the house was built in the 1950s. There was an old man named Arnold Corll that lived there. Quote, he minded his own business and he was the type of guy, well, if he needed some help, he would be damn willing to do it, one neighbor said. And another one said the following.
Another added plaintively, Mr. Corll had an unhappy life himself. He lost a wife to some disease, had a tough time. Seems like some people just don't carry a horseshoe with them. And now this. He don't need it. And he's a good church-going man, too.
The house was actually really nice, upkept by this nice old man, Arnold Corll, and he kept it up nice. The lawn was nice, but then his son moved in, and this is his son, if you want to describe him. His name is Dean.
Dean Corll.
I mean, he looks like a good little lad, doesn't he?
Is this who was dead or no? Can't say yet.
This is the guy on the floor. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is the
Did
guy.
I give that away? Should I have not said that?
No. I'm
you're
also
good.
starting the story at the very end. I don't know why.
Yeah, you normally do that though. So, he looks maybe
kind of James Deanish.
Yeah, 20s, 30s, early 30s maybe, but
He
like
looks like
dark
a cute
hair.
dead guy.
I mean, clearly
There's
he
a
would
market
go on
for that if
I
we
think
get a
there
website.
is. Should build one.
CuteDeadGuys.com. I've done this for 5 years, and that's the first fucking time I've seen that.
Yeah.
This is where the photos were. If you wanted the photos, CuteDeadGuys.com or whatever. I was like, are you fucking hell yeah, I'll sign up. Yeah, register right away. What the fuck? Yeah, credit card, obviously. Social security number. Here you go. What the fuck? I used yours. Is that okay?
Thank you.
All right, so this is the guy that was dead, Dean Corll, and you guys kind of heard that.
I've heard the name.
Have you heard the name, Brent? All right. He's known as the Candy Man.
Oh.
Candy Man, give me some candy. And I'll tell you why in later. But anyway, that's him right there. The house that he was living in used to be a staple of the community, a nicely manicured lawn, well kept. And then his son moved in. Arnold was kind of going downhill, the dad, and then eventually he passed. And the son just has no respect for the property at all and decides to just have parties in it. So anyway. Let me back up. What you got now is a 911 call. This was 1973. This was in the morning. This was a Wednesday morning. A man who I showed you, his name was Wayne Henley. He's a 17-year-old kid. He calls the police. I killed somebody. Y'all get over here to 2020 Lamar. They come over. Okay, where's the dead dude? I showed you the dead guy. His name is Dean Corll. He's got 5 bullet holes in him. He's laying there on the floor. He's butt naked. And not only that, they find all these sex devices, these 2-headed dildos, all kinds of lubrication. The whole place smells like banana oil. Like, what the fuck is going on? So the detectives are like, all right, slow down. Let's get to the bottom of this. But first, let's map out who the fuck are the people still here. There's 3 people still alive. So before we go any further, we need to talk about the quote, girl on the torture bed, end quote.
Oh dear.
So I told you when the cop got to the house, there was what? There was a guy that called, teenager that called the police. There was also another male there, and there was a girl that was gladly dressed, covered in blood, head to toe. This is the girl right here. She is known as the girl on the torture bed.
Okay.
She is a survivor of this man, and mostly because he didn't care for females, as you're going to see.
Oh.
He didn't care at all for females. She was just there. In fact, she was the reason that this happened. Can you read the from the Houston Press?
Rhonda and Tim are the forgotten victims expected to carry on with their lives. They will survive, but they won't completely escape.
So there's a lot to process. How do I put all this stuff together? Like, how do we put all this stuff together, right? So her name would be changed over many times, and she would change schools. What I'm doing with this story is I'm injecting her story, which she came out in 2008 and was like, you know what? Fuck it. It's been 40 years. 40 years. I haven't said a word. No one has given a shit to even ask me about what happened. In 2008, she comes out and says, this is what happened. 40 years it takes her to tell her story. So I'm injecting her story in what happened. This episode, we're going to find out what happened. How is there a dead guy on the floor? Why is there a two-headed dildo? Why is all this stuff going on? What the fuck happened this night? Because this was in the morning. So what happened 3 hours before we showed up, right?
Okay.
And that girl, Rhonda, she was one of the forgotten victims that no one cared about. And 40 years later, she comes out and she tells her story. She, for 40 years, was told to forget about it, to move on. Oh, you're so lucky, whatever. And she was discarded completely. Her father disowned her. She went from foster home to foster home. But the whole time she lived in this hell of being the girl on the torture bed, a 6 to 7 hour torture session of pure hell, which we're about to get into, which I know you guys love, right?
Amazing.
Okay. A little bit about her if you want to read the next one. This is from an interview that she gave to ABC News.
Rhonda wouldn't have been in this situation had she succeeded in ending her life a year earlier. Rhonda's bedroom wasn't always a bedroom. Back then, it was a gas jet stove. She can't recall where she got the idea, but she strapped a styrofoam cup to her face with a rubber band and ran a hose from the cup to the stove. She had waited until she was alone in the house to do it, but her plan was foiled when she heard her dad pull into the driveway. She never tried it again.
So we're going to try to tell this night, whatever happened this night based on her story. So, quote, my daddy didn't want me, Rhonda says today. It wasn't that I was bad. I just wasn't wanted. Now, she met this guy named Frank when she was 13. Now, Frank was a really good guy. He was 18. And this guy's his name was Frank Aguilar. Now, don't actually remember him too much because he's not really he is a character, obviously, but he is the one that found her and they were engaged. He was 18. She's 13. He's a really nice guy.
Young.
Yeah, I know, awful young. They worked together at Lone John Silver's. He was really respectful to her and everything else. Frank was a sweet boy whose kindness did not go unnoticed in the neighborhood. When he spotted a little girl bawling outside Lone John Silver's because she'd lost the dime her mother gave her to fetch hush puppies, he hooked her up with enough hush puppies to feed an army. The girl never forgot that. And they were in love. And from what I found out, and he's got a whole memorial on him specifically. They were in love. They were supposed to be married at one point. And in March 1972, he calls Rhonda after his shift and he says, I'm coming over there, to the house to hang out, whatever, watch a movie, whatever. He never shows up. On the way to Rhonda's house, a man in a van who I showed you, the van, the white van that I showed you, the Ford Econoline, with the man that was eventually dead on the floor, pulls up and says, hey, what are you doing? Well, I'm going to my girlfriend Rhonda's house. Oh, I know Rhonda. We're really good friends. Why don't you come in here? I'll give you a ride. It's better than you riding your bicycle.
From the Candy Cards author by Robert Brown, Frank agreed, and as soon as he got into the van, Wayne handed him a Budweiser. We're going to a housewarming party first, he told his friend. That's cool with me, replied Frank Aguilar, sipping a can of beer. The majority of teenagers in the Heights regarded him just about as the most laid-back guy they had ever seen.
Now, Wayne is the guy that called the police in the first time. So
okay.
I'm trying to meld these stories together, right? So this boy, Frank, who was dating Rhonda, the girl in the torture bed, the girl that was there when the police showed up. This is how they know each other. Frank gets into the van with the guy that eventually will call the 911, Wayne Henley, that's his name. And he hands him a beer and says, hey, come on, we're going to a housewarming party. They get to 2020 Lamar, which is only 5 blocks away from Rhonda's house. They start drinking, they're smoking, and a really popular thing to do at this time in Houston was spray some acrylic paint, spray paint into a bag and huff it. HuffingtonPost.com. They just huff it. They huff the paint. I don't know what the fuck, man. The huff and paint. That's the thing, man.
It's nothing like a whippet.
Huffing and puffing.
I used to eat paint chips, not huff shit.
Did you dip them?
No, I'm just kidding.
I wasn't going to judge you.
All right. So he goes to the house and there's another boy there too. His name is David Brooks. So, and the story is Dean Corll. So this guy, Frank Aguilar, the boyfriend gets to the house and you have Dean Corll, Wayne Henley, and this guy named David Brooks. Let me show you David Brooks real quick, just so you can see that these guys are really young. Besides the dead guy on the floor, Dean Corll, the one we're talking about tonight, is the dead guy and he's 35 years old.
Okay.
These guys are all in their mid-teens. So it's kind of weird already that a 35-year-old is hanging out with some mid-teenagers, right? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. They get to the house. They're drinking, smoking, huffing, having a great time. But after a while, he's ready to go to Rhonda's house. Then Wayne says, okay, you know what? We've been having a great time, but you're the new guy. We just met you. You're the new guy. We're really good friends with Rhonda. We're going to take you back. But since you're the new guy, you got to try this thing. Now, Wayne says this, the guy that called 911, Wayne says this.
Okay.
He says, you've got to try this cool thing. It's called the handcuff game, the quote handcuff game. Have you ever tried it?
No, I don't
I'm
like the
just
sound
gonna
of that.
give y'all a word of advice. If anybody ever asks you that, don't try it.
Say no.
Yeah,
That's the first thing.
I'm good. Thanks.
So with this guy, let me show you a picture of this kid right quick. So he was 18 years old, and this was the last time he was alive. I'm gonna tell you how he died, but he was coaxed into the handcuff trick. Now, what this was Wayne and this other boy that was there. They were like, you know what? There's this thing called a handcuff trick. Let me show you. And then Wayne puts these handcuffs on himself.
Ain't no
He's
trick,
like,
dude.
check this out. I'm gonna jump under this blanket, and I'm just gonna Houdini my way out of here. And he did. He
Didn't John Wayne
Houdini-
Gacy have a handcuff game too?
Exactly. Yeah. So this story is just like that. Handcuff game.
Good memory, Jen.
Yeah. So his was something else. It was like
Sables just said it too.
the
Yeah.
knot game or something, the rope and knot game or whatever. End of story. If anyone ever fucking asks you that, I mean,
Unless you want to get murdered, say no.
so
Assaulted.
Do not recommend.
Wayne.
0 out of 10 stars.
So Wayne here gets out of the handcuffs and is like, oh, see, it's easy. You try it. Puts the handcuffs on. He can't get out. Obviously, that's because Wayne had some handcuff keys hidden in his boxer shorts. So this guy, this 18-year-old is fumbling. He's starting to get really worried. He's handcuffed. His feet are shackled. He can't get out like Wayne just did. And they're laughing and smoking and drinking beer. And then he says the following, well, you might as well get ready to go to California. And that's what he says. Now, this is gonna get a little intense right here.
All right.
So, and just to take us back, we're kind of injecting Rhonda's story into this. How did Rhonda get in this situation? Is because she had a boyfriend, this guy Frank, who met Dean Corll and his crew this one night, and that's how she got intermixed with this.
Okay.
So I'm telling you about Frank's story right now. Okay, you guys understand? We all understand?
Yep.
The one question I have.
Yeah.
Did they really know Rhonda when they said this, or were they just enticing him to get in
Oh,
the van?
good question.
That is a good question. So Rhonda was well known, and the reason being she lived in the Heights, and apparently it's like these apartment buildings that spread out, and she was popular for a 15-year-old. She was also kind of a runaway and going from foster home to foster home. But Wayne Henley was actually friends. Wayne Henley, the guy that called, and I'm just going to kind of tell you right now, Wayne Henley is involved in the murders, and there's a lot of them. But just to kind of get you, the guy that called 911 is involved in the murders that we're going to talk about. But Wayne Henley was really good friends with Rhonda. Okay. Now, she didn't know that he was involved in this stuff. She probably just thought he was some kind of common thief or whatever, because, he would always have the best things. And, he's hanging out with this guy named Dean, who's they older and, they're stealing stuff and selling it, pawning it, stuff like that. So they kind of did know her, but not all that well. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So anyway, that was a really good question. I suggest you prepare yourself for a trip to California, buddy. That's what he said. Now, this guy, Frank, Rhonda's boyfriend, is freaking the fuck out. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, now he's met Dean before. I mean, they were at the house just drinking, smoking, huffing together, having a good time. And then all of a sudden, this handcuff trick has got him out on the front lawn. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, Frank is struggling. He's like, what the fuck? Are y'all fucking with me? The two boys, David Brooks and Wayne Henley, David Brooks, don't worry about, but Wayne Henley, the one who coaxed him into it, was sitting on a patio chair, just smoking a joint and drinking moonshine from a jug. And he's just like laughing. He's like, I'm getting $200 for you, motherfucker. You're going to California. You might as well shut the fuck up. Like, just having a good time.
So it was
just
like
laughing.
human trafficking before.
Exactly.
It was a big problem.
He says, I suggest you prepare yourself for a trip to California. Dean, all of a sudden the back door flies off the hinges, literally just opens up. And like a monster from a cage, that guy you saw, that big dude that was dead on the floor, you saw his big legs, that big hulky dude runs out, scurries out, runs over to the handcuffed boy who is also shackled at his feet and grabs him by the back pocket. His back pocket is sticking out, and he takes his back pocket of this boy's jeans and he grabs his back pocket and he ropes him inside the house just by the pocket. Like he's dragging this kid, 18-year-old kid, by his back pocket into the house. And this is out of fucking nowhere. These two boys are laughing, having a good time. And he is just like it's like a caged monster just opens the freaking gate and grabs the pocket and just rips him back into the house. So it must be a sight to fucking see, right? And this isn't the first time he's done this. And he's going to have his way. So this boy, his hands are behind his back, handcuffed. His feet are shackled. He is now being dragged into the house. The boys on the patio chairs, Wayne Henley, they're drinking and they see all this, and then they hear the door lock. So they're locked out of the house now. All right. At this point, about 5 minutes later, they start hearing it. They start hearing the screams. They're muffled, but Wayne Henley can hear it. They can hear the screams, what are you doing? And they can actually hear the scratches on the wood.
Oh, dear.
With this boy trying to get away. And Wayne Henley is just like, what the fuck? What the hell is going on? What is he doing?
Yeah.
Wayne, all this time, was getting paid $200 to bring in these boys for Dean Corll because from what he knew, this boy was going to California to join a, quote, white slave ring.
Oh,
what is that?
Because
does
Dean
not sound fun.
Dean was selling kids to a white slave ring.
Oh, dear.
Which is completely fictitious, but that's what he told Wayne because, you can't tell him, I'll give you $200 so I can rape and murder this boy.
Oh, boy.
Because that sounds like way worse.
So if you guys don't know yet, we're talking about Dean Corll. He is the Houston serial killer, and he is a particularly terrible guy. And
horrible human.
He has horrible human. The story has a lot in common with John Wayne Gacy, Bob Berdella, David Parker Ray, and some other torturers that I'm probably missing. But he is known as the Candyman, and we're going to get to why he's known as the Candyman, but that's what he's known as. And he is a Houston serial killer, probably the most notorious serial killer in Texas. But his victims range from, as you see here, Frank Aguiar going down. You see how many there are? This is how many.
Jesus Christ.
Page 2.
Page 2. So here we go. Down. 29 victims in total. One is still not even named yet as of today.
Wow.
The last time I looked, he's not been identified. But they're all male, as you saw. They're all teenagers. And they all happened relatively quick to each other. So there was they all lived in the Heights.
Huh.
There was a lot of kids going missing.
Is he considered a spree killer based on
No,
how
not a
quickly
spree
it
killer.
was?
No, this guy is a serial killer and a sadistic one at that. And we're going to get to all them. But anyway, at this point, he can hear these muffled screams and they turn into these terrible moans of agony. He's getting raped. This boy, this teenager, this 18-year-old who was engaged to Rhonda, the nice kid working at Lone John Silver's. He had just called her, hey, I'm coming over tonight. I'll be there. I love you. I'll see you. I'm leaving work now. I'm leaving work. She's friends with Wayne Henley. Anyway, he starts these terrible moans of agony, and that is from him getting raped. They can hear the scratching on the wood. Wayne finally asks, what the fuck is going on? What is going on? Like, what's happening? Why is he screaming? And then the other accomplice there, David Brooks, says, quote, Dean is strangling him to death while having his way with him, end quote. Now, Wayne's like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean having his way with him? I thought they were shipping them to California. He literally thought this was a white sex slave ring.
Gross.
So,
And $200 in 1973, $1,300 today.
is that 13?
Damn.
That's fucking good money, man. I mean, I'm saying to a boy that,
It was 15, 16, 17. Yeah.
this kid,
I mean, I'd take $1,300 today. I wouldn't.
let me show you this kid again.
Sell someone.
Put
but-
me in handcuffs.
Yeah.
This kid, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this kid, but a 9th grade dropout, abusive family, a drunken dad. Like, what does he got going for him?
He looks like
Not
Justin
much.
Bieber.
So he has this older man, Dean Corll, show up and says, hey, I'll give you $200 $200, man, if you can, bring these kids to me and I can sell them.
Am I spoiling to say that the Justin Bieber guy, this guy you just showed, he's kind of the hero of the show, right? A little, am I spoiling it?
No. I mean,
Good thought.
You're gonna see. Yeah, I guess he's the in the weird way the hero. Yeah,
but he's also a murderer.
He's an accomplice. Right?
Is he though? Because
is he?
Right. He was doing trafficking, right?
Yeah. Right.
But he's not killing anybody. He didn't know that they were going to die. But still, it's still
Yeah.
wrong.
But if he kept supplying them, and where are these boys going?
Yeah, he didn't care. But
Interesting.
So
but they were in a van. So where did he think? Didn't he know that these bodies were stacking up?
They were not stacking up at the house. They were stacking up in a boat shed.
Oh God.
A rented boat shed.
Huh.
So he didn't. There was no bodies there. They didn't find any bodies at the house.
So he would just drop off the boys.
The boys were murdered at the house, but they wouldn't. They wouldn't like Gacy stuffing them in the crawl space type of shit. They were transported to a couple locations.
It was Corll doing that, or was Henley involved in that?
Corll was doing it with this other accomplice, David Brooks, and then eventually, as you're about to see, Henley was involved. So, but you can tell me if he's the bad guy or not, because I mean, he is the one that said, quote, I killed the guy. He killed the serial killer. Is he a bad guy? I mean, he said, good luck in California. I mean, what is white? But then again, a white not even sex, a white slave trade in California.
It's not a good person, but
no.
It doesn't even make sense. What the fuck is that even?
It's not a thing.
Slave trade for what?
Then.
For what? Nike shoes? What the fuck? What are they, in California?
I don't know.
All white boys, a freaking slave trade, in California. The reason I'm saying this is when he was arrested, Wayne Henley, 126 IQ, smart guy. Yeah, he's a dropout, but he's a smart dude. I mean, couldn't put that together.
Right.
This isn't making sense.
But then I feel if it wasn't him, Corll would have found someone else to do it.
Right.
Just was the first one to say yes. Maybe. I don't know. I need more details before I convict him. And he's definitely not innocent.
Right.
Okay. So at this point, Wayne Henley is sitting there on the patio chair and he's hearing all this terrible shit going on. These terrible screams, these terrible moans, these cries for help. And eventually they get more and more muffled. That's because eventually Frank gets gagged, a washcloth shoved in his mouth, duct tape slapped over his mouth so it gets more muffled. His accomplice David says, quote, he is strangling him to death while having his way with him. Wayne is like, what the fuck? What about California? What about the white slave ring? And then David says, it's not a thing. That's just what he's been telling you. At this point, Wayne gets up and he goes to the door and tries to open it, but Dean locked it. Dean locked the monster that came out and drugged this boy by his back pocket, locks the door, locks the cage. He can't get in. He's beaten up. Let my friend go, because they were friends. Wayne is friends with Rhonda, and guess what? Rhonda is deeply, deeply in love with Frank. Deeply in love. They're friends. I mean, kind of fucked up friends. He's going to sell them to California, but still.
The muffled gargling sounds continued for a number of minutes while Wayne and David kept on pleading at the door. Eventually, the door flew open and Dean, half dressed, came out with his breath racing. You two are going to help me get rid of the body, he said, tightening his lips. Wayne unlocked the cuffs. I'm going to fetch the lime and the sheets.
Wayne peeked in the bedroom at this point and saw the naked corpse of Frank Aguirre. And from the author Robert Brown in his book, The Man with Candy, says, quote, the mouth was still gagged. The bulging eyes were turned upside down in their sockets. And the throat was purple black with bruises. There was a nylon rope noose around the disfigured neck, end quote. The cause of death for Frank, when they found his body, they actually found his body on a high island with several other bodies as well. I kind of spoiled it. He's a serial killer. But most of the bodies were found in the boat shed, but as I'll tell you later, he kind of had a space problem. A rented boat shed. There's a you pack almost a dozen bodies in there and you kind of run out of room.
Yeah, it's kind of tight.
Depends on the size boat you have, I guess.
Well, he didn't have a boat. He just had a bunch of bodies. Right? There was no boat in there.
He should have gotten a yacht shack then.
We're gonna need
I'll show you the freaking shack. It's pretty spacious.
Yacht shack.
You know, I mean, what the fuck? Anyway, I mean, the old man that rented him this too. I mean, holy shit, I'll have to get into him. But anyway, so he sees Frank there. Now, Frank, when they finally uncovered his body about 17 months later, they exhumed his body, and the medical examiner said that he died of air hunger. Quote, air hunger.
From the Houston Press, after his remains were found buried in High Island 17 months later, Harris County medical examiner Joseph Jaminski testified during Wayne's trial that Frank died of air hunger. Cloth was stuffed into his mouth and held in place with tape. A noose was tied around his neck. He might have died in 3 to 4 minutes. Jaminski said he could have been conscious 1 or 2 minutes, depending on how long he could hold his breath.
So, as you'll see, Dean Corll, his thing is he likes to strengthen. I mean, the noose was still around his neck. They didn't even bother to cut it off. He wraps his noose around this boy and he rapes him right there on this torture board.
Yep.
The thing that y'all saw. Yeah, Brent's like, what the fuck did I sign up for? I don't know why you're here, bro.
I know, I was kidding.
What is you're like, what the fuck? This is an easy story, man.
Easy.
Dude, you should have been here during the vampire story we did, where I like ruined Panera bread for him.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
So that's how Frank ended. Now, the reason I told you about Frank is because Rhonda was deeply in love with Frank, and Rhonda was the one covered in blood there. Completely shocked, has no freaking idea why there's a dead dude, what the fuck is going on. But I want to tell you her story of what she went through. So there's like 2 episodes kind of like smashed together. You guys okay with that? But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy that. And until next time, good night, you lovely, lovely people.